Well, Wednesday is the first day of school for kids in Boise, which means more parents and students in school zones and more Boise police officers patrolling the nearby roads. Boise Police School Resource Officer Coty Palmer joins us now with a few reminders as kids head back to the classroom. Officer Palmer, thank you so much for joining us here on the News at Noon.
Glad to be with you guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so, we have a lot of neighborhood schools in Boise. What's most important for parents and students who are maybe walking to school to know?
I mean, the biggest thing is safety, right? I would say if you've got younger kids, especially parents, I would walk that route to school beforehand if they're going to be walking to school. Make sure that they know where to cross the street, make sure they know what obstacles to look out for. There's no hidden surprises for these younger kids. They get excited on the first day of school. We don't want any accidents. And then I would say to the drivers, just be defensive, right? There's a lot of kids that are excited to go back to school. They may not walk on the sidewalk like they should. They want to bunch up with their friends and spill out onto the street. So just be very aware, keep your speeds low, make sure everybody's safe.
When it comes to school zone patrols, what are Boise police officers looking for?
I mean, the obvious easy one, right, is speeding. That'll get you pulled over real fast. Like I said, these kids, they don't always walk on the sidewalk. They, do things that are unexpected sometimes, and we don't want any accidents. So speeding's a big one. And then another one that we look out for is distracted driving. So the biggest one for that is obviously on your phone. We've had the new hands-free law for about a year now, so you can get a ticket if you have your phone in your hands. But not just your phone or your radio, whatever else it is, fixing your tie if you're on your way to work. These things can cause accidents because these kids will dart out in the street in a split second. If you're distracted, especially texting or whatever it may be, it's really hard to avoid those accidents, and we want these kids to be safe.
Yeah, and speaking of driving, the rules around when and where to stop for a school bus always kind of seem to confuse drivers sometimes. How can drivers navigate safely around those school buses?
Well, if you know the law, that will help you first, right? So if it's a 2 or 3 lane street, both lanes, both directions have to stop. So look out for those buses flashing lights for the stop sign to come out. Make sure that all lanes stop. However, if you are on a 4 or 5 lane road, only the cars that are going the same direction as the bus have to stop. So stay behind the bus, wait for all the kids to get on or off. But if you're on the other side of the street, obviously, if 4 or 5 lane street, you're good to keep going. But that doesn't mean you can just cruise by and go as fast as you want, right? We still got to be safe and be aware these kids might do some funny things when they get off the bus too. So it's not always just a free-for-all.
Yeah, a lot of good safety tips there. All right, Boise Police School Resource Officer Coty Palmer, thank you so much for joining us here on the News at Noon.
Awesome, thank you.